So, good afternoon, everyone. So today we have Prashant Trivedi with us, who is an expert in Vedic astrology, and we would like to discuss several things about Vedic astronomy, and especially about the our universe and the Earth. So the first question would be, if you could maybe say, Prashant, something about the position of the Earth in the universe and its shape. So how it's located according to Vedas.
Okay. The thing in this is that the Vedic conception of the universe, what I call it multiverse, okay, is like planes, okay, various planes of existence. So they're like slices, like you have a slice, and then you have another slice, and you have another slice, you have another slice, okay, and these are like you can consider like frequency based slices, okay. So they are like different from each other in that way, like they're on a different frequency. For example, right now on Earth we have like a visible frequency, okay, which the human eye sees, only visible frequency. And then you have invisible frequency like radio waves. You can't see radio waves, you can't see Wi-Fi signal, you can't see any of these things. They are here but you cannot see them, okay. So uh, so they, like that's a world, like individual, like just like you'll have like different radio waves, EM waves, you'll have a chart. The same way the multiverse has a chart of planes. Okay. So this is a plane, okay. And we are part of a plane. Okay. Where this particular plane is, okay,
Yes.
which we are in right now, okay, is not mentioned in any Vedic text. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting statement.
Okay, this is I'm going to be very, very frank with you. Okay. And that's okay, because the thing is that all the Vedic texts like Srimad Bhagavatam and different ones, the Puranas and stuff, a lot of the stories are happening at different planes.
Yep.
In different timelines, different planes, and different that. Like they are not saying, like let's just say they're not considering this to be so important.
Okay.
Place. They're just going to talk about this. Okay. Like it's like this is like, even if you see like the term like bhu, like the bhu, bhu means something which is physical, like and like in a plane, it's like a physical plane, like like we are definitely part of a physical plane because we are physical and we have a plane, and so we are part of a physical plane. How big that is, there's no mention of that, because when they speak in like terms of like distances and stuff, that's yojanas, and yojanas like is a very varying kind of measure.
Yeah. So what is the range for yojana, if you could maybe?
Yeah, yojana can be anything from a kilometer to 1,000 kilometers. Okay, so it's you cannot say, because right now like 400, 500 years ago, what they consider a yojan is different, and maybe thousands of years ago, what they consider a yojan is different. For this plane, yojan is different. Another plane, it is different. Like it is not like a standardized unit of measure like a meter. Or anything we have right now. It's not standardized.
So why do they use it such a strange measure? What's the
reason? I mean, because I think people knew the whatever like context, because most of the Sanskrit knowledge is context based.
Yeah.
Okay, so if a rishi is talking to his disciples about yojana, at that time they know what a because they are rishi at that time, like in the Vedic time, is speaking directly to a person.
Like Vyasadeva, yeah.
Right now I can talk to you like a feet, okay, like you're 5 feet or 6 feet, and you'll understand what I mean. Okay. Another time, another people, they don't know what a feet is, okay, but you're not talking to them.
Yeah.
You're not talking to them, so you can have your own measure. You understand, the other person understands, and that's it. Other person need and understand in another time. They're not concerned about. They're not talking to other people in other times. They're not talking to us right now. Oh, how confused we will be right now by all of that. But you have to understand, like there's a context to everything. So within that context, it was understood. Okay. Right now, even the term goal, for example, in Sanskrit, the term bhu goal. Now, goal actually means round. Just means round. Okay, round. Okay, now people have turned, bhu goal is written somewhere in Sanskrit text. then that means a sphere. But gola doesn't mean a sphere. Like any round shape is like round. This is round. Like, so that is, this is round, but that is not a sphere. Okay. Yeah. So people have to differentiate between the word round and sphere. Okay. So because people just make that jump from round to spherical so much, like, and so quickly that, then it creates so much confusion. So like right now, the little landmass or little ocean which we stay in, like a pond, that may be round, may or may not, unless, we have a, you can't really say until you go up to a point where you can see the whole thing, and you can see like, okay, this is the boundary, and that's how it is. Okay, that's the only way of truly saying. But the round actually came from the size, the shape of the universe, which they said was like an egg. Okay, it's Brahmand. Brahma, and means egg. Okay, so Brahma's egg. So it's like an egg. So in an egg shape, like if you have planes, and if you have a plane in the middle of the egg, okay, like a plane, then it will cut a circle. In an egg, it will cut a circle. Okay, so that will be goal.
What will be the other?
Gola. Goal.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like if you just take a plane and cut an egg in the center.
Yes, okay, yeah.
You will get a round thing. Yeah, so that's what is being told. Like if you have a physical plane, goal, which is that big in the center, a huge thing, and that will be round in total. Doesn't mean that this world is round. They're not talking about our world there. They're talking about the whole physical plane of existence, not just our physical plane.
So Bhugola means basically our plane of existence, physical plane of existence,
which can be much bigger than what little place we have here. This is quite little. It's not so big, whatever. The thing we have from like the Arctic to Antarctica, whatever, like wherever the ice is, and we are in between. There's a ocean and there are some islands, basically. So and everything was called dweeps. That's why everything was called islands. In the physical plane, they called it islands, dweepas. And that's where you will mention the term Jambu Dweep, like the Jambu is one of the islands. Okay. But to say that this exactly is Jambu Dweep, okay, will not be that. Again, it's speculation. It's, you can't say for sure that this one is Jambu Dweep or some other Dweep is Jambu Dweep.
So what can we say for sure then?
So yeah, because it's semantics. Okay, right now you call that America, an island like that. You call it America. Earlier it was called Turtle Island, or some other people will call it something else. It's an island, and which one is what? Like, so I don't care too much about when people start naming these things and try to that thing, which one is this, because there's actually no way of knowing that, because only way in this particular world, people have been given limited capacities, like a human being has been given limited eyesight, which is within a certain frequency range only. You can't see beyond that. So it's quite restrictive. So even the knowledge which we can have in this plane is restricted in that manner. Okay. And this plane was not considered a plane where you're going to be long term, which you will be occupying. Nobody, it's like a prison plane, like where people come and then they, like it's a punishment. It's like a jail. You're put there and you want to get out of there as quickly as possible, because nothing is very clear. And you cannot be clear about it because you have limited senses. You have limited perception. Like right now, people with a limited perception, they keep on fighting with each other. It is this, or it's going to be this, or is it that, or is it that? But you cannot know. Okay, if you go to another plane of existence on the top, like which is called like in the Sanskrit, it's called Bhu Bhuva Swaha. The next plane is Bhuvar Loka, Bhuvar, which is like Elven. You can call it Elven in English, Elven sort of thing. And then the heaven, which is Swarg, Loka.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you reach those planes, then you can see what this is
Mm-hmm.
from that vantage point. Just
Yeah.
like an eagle can see what the land is,
Yeah.
and a snake cannot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, snake is on the ground; it can only see that much. Eagle can see from a
Mm-hmm.
higher perspective. So once you get one more higher perspective, another plane higher, you can see the nature of this plane much more,
Mm-hmm.
clearly. But until you are there, you can just fight,
Yeah.
and there's no actual way of knowing any of these things. So if people, I say to people who really want to know these things,
Mm-hmm.
like whoever, like real, that thing, I want to know, like,
Yes.
where am I? What is all this? Like, like if they have this, they better start preparing to get one plane higher. If you really have that desire, like, if you really have that seeking, like a sincere seeking, I would suggest let's get, like, just because, yeah, I mean, just like how you want to, like, see more of this town and city, you go up to a hill and then you take a binocular and have a look.
Yeah.
You have to do some work, and I would suggest that is the only way,
Mm-hmm.
while being here, because everything is, even from the planes, everything, we can't get much.
Mm-hmm.
Even the balloons we send up, how far they go, whatever, like the
Yeah.
view you get is not the whole view.
So what do you
You
say
never
about,
get the,
yeah, what would you say about this moon landing?
I mean, all of that is just a joke, that's a movie. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, 20th century was a century of films.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything is movie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so whatever happens is all movie. Like, it's all,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been shown a lot of movies and people have been, so it was just like, so, I mean, that has been, so that is a film, like, and
Yeah.
people should see it as a
Okay.
movie, not as something,
Mm-hmm.
which is, and obviously whatever they showed from there proved to be CGI pretty much, like that round ball from the moon, the
Yeah.
shots of Earth, and that's not real anyways, like
Yeah.
everybody can, and um and they themselves say Earth is not round, it is like some spheroid or like this, like, so
Yeah.
then how come it is totally round? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
nobody
That's a
can.
good question.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. So I mean, all of that is just a false, that thing, because, I mean, people, like, there are people out here who want to give you a false narrative of where we are. Okay, the ball Earth theory, you're just going around the sun, and then the sun is going around the galaxy, and then you're just going round and round for no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's one big merry-go-round for no purpose.
Yeah.
Then it keeps you on the same, that thing, and no one thinks in terms of higher planes, lower planes, planes of existence.
Mm-hmm.
It was just to take away this sense that we have planes of existence. This is a plane. Planet means plane,
Mm-hmm.
plane crossing. That's what it was about,
Mm-hmm.
actually. So Vedic, the one thing from Vedic which people should take, when they go into it, is that everything is planes, and this is just a plane. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
how big this is or not,
Yeah.
you can only know when you go up. Like, like that but right now, what is that this is it's a plane. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a plane, is for sure. Like, even in Vedic astrology, all the astronomical calculations
Mm-hmm.
are actually based on flat plane.
Yeah.
There is no geocentric ball Earth calculations in Vedic astrology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
even 300 years ago, 400 years ago, whatever calculations 500,000 years ago were happening to make your chart,
yeah.
are not that thing, like heliocentric
Mm-hmm.
ball Earth model. They are all based on geocentric
And stationary. Yeah.
Earth. Yeah, stationary. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because, and everything is pole star. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even right now, like, if you are somewhere, what is the angle of pole star to you?
Yeah.
So say if you are in England, it's 51 degree north. It means the angle of pole star is 51 degrees
Mm-hmm.
from wherever you are,
Yeah.
which is like a flat, which happens on a flat plane. There's a star, and this is your angle to the star.
Yeah.
And the farther you go away, the angle will reduce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but sometimes
It's a very,
we don't see a pole star. Yes.
yeah, from 0 degree equator
Yeah.
onwards, and then minus calculation starts.
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah, from 0 degree onwards. That's why if something is 11 degrees, you means 11 degrees, 17, 540, and then the negative calculation starts. Okay. But everything was pole star based.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all these that things, and fixed star, which is a fixed star, and everything is rotating
Yeah.
around it. Yeah, which can be seen clearly right now, even with the cameras, and you can have the clarity with that. Like so I think that part is clear.
Yeah.
That is a fixed star. Nobody can refute that pole star is the fixed star. Amongst the things, and everything is moving around it.
So how should we understand that the planets that are the closest to us, like let's say the sun or the moon? So what are the things that we observe actually on our sky?
Right now, people should not give any kind of physicality to this.
Okay.
Like they shouldn't think that it's a physical object first. Like they say sun is a gas, or they shouldn't even think in terms of gas, liquid, or solid.
Yeah.
I mean, from what, like, if you want to give a term from the present, plasma is a better term.
Yeah.
They can think in terms of plasma. Okay, like this is more of a plasmic state, which is neither solid. What is plasma? Which is neither solid nor liquid nor gas. Okay. So they can think in terms of that state. Like what these things are. It's like it's a plasma thing. And they're definitely not physical. So anyone telling you any of these things are physical, it's again just another one of the movies.
Yeah, there was a scientist before the fake moon landing who actually claimed that moon is a plasma phenomenon. So, but actually there was just one movie with him, and later on they just take this out everything. So it's not possible to find who was this person, what he wrote. And but he did serious research from what I understood from this interview with him. So he was about to publish something really very, very important, I would say, for us for getting the proper understanding.
Yes, I mean, whenever people try to come up with any truth, it is not given any kind of mainstream that thing, because masses are not supposed to know these things. Masses are supposed to believe these things so that people will think there are some other physical objects called planets which we can go to or travel to. So you dangle that carrot in front of them, so they keep working for that. When that's not possible and that's not true, so then they will never work for going to the next plane. They will always think of in terms of these balls, like, okay, if we are on this ball, but we can go to that ball. Okay, and that too through a physical spacecraft, like a physical like mode of transport. Okay, but which is not possible. There is no other ball to go to or any such thing. So and that's where all the energy of the human endeavor will go to, and that kind of thing. So that is a misdirection of energy, what I would call it, like where you basically don't let them understand where they should be actually trying to figure out. And even if that much research went into the planes of existence, I think right now people would have a more clearer idea about that thing. So in the Lord of the Rings, for example, in the West, and then they talked about Middle-earth, Midgard, and then the Elven plane, and it's the same thing as the Vedic actually. All the thing is similar, like even in the Norse mythology, all the Midgard, Asgard, all of that, but it's understood as different worlds and different planes, and not the same physical plane. So I mean, but energy is not gone in that direction, because the mainstream like religion called science, I call it a religion only. It's been teaching people this false notion of that thing, and through Star Wars, Star Trek, all these things, people were given more and more ideas that this is how our universe is, and this is how we can progress within this universe. And this is not how we can progress from the Vedic perspective. Because I'm representing a Vedic perspective here, from that perspective, you can only go plane hopping. And even if you have to see more of this plane, you will still have to go to higher plane, and then from there go into the other parts of the plane.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be up first and then
Down.
an angled arrow to the other
Yeah.
parts of this whatever huge
Mm-hmm.
thing this is, so like rather than like a side hop, because there are some barriers,
Mm-hmm.
like when you have a prison, right?
Yeah.
You have a boundary, you have a wall, you have a that thing.
So you say about the firmament, yes, or the dome, which is above, or
yeah, dome, yeah, as a whole, all of this is prison boundary. Like
mm-hmm.
there is a boundary to any prison. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously this one will have boundary too, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
on the sides, on top, around. Like it'll be a sealed
Mm-hmm.
thing,
Yeah.
So like I think thinking in terms of vibration, frequency, planes, that thing is much more fruitful for the humans from the Vedic point of view, rather than squabbling over what is the thing, how much is the direct distance, and that. I mean, you can do some sort of things here, like calculations. You can travel from one place to another place,
Yeah.
and figure out what is the size. Even to figure out the size of this place, you'll need a lot of work.
Yeah.
Even to to find the size of real size of America or India or anything.
Yeah.
You will need to do some actual work.
Yeah.
To because unless you want to tell whatever Google Earth tells you,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
but then you just believing something, you don't know what the
Mm-hmm.
actual thing is. So I mean, you can map this out. Just mapping this plane out is possible,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you are able to map out. But any more than that is just pure speculation. So
yeah, but for example, if we have measurements in Yojana of Himalayas, let's say, or the distance from India to Lanka, so would you say that it's possible from that to actually infer what is the size of Yojana that was used, or that could also change, or it's
that'll be for that purpose, that'll be just for that Himalayas at the time. But whatever, I mean, it might not be referred to the mountain ranges which is next to India right now. On top, like what are they talking about is not very clear. And I'm telling you this, from my perspective, that there is not one Earth. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
So how many Earths do we have? Then?
Yeah, and like we're not counting. If we count, then that is speculation again. I don't want to go into speculation. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But first, just to know that there are many islands. Okay, and the different islands will be different Earths. Okay. So like for example, we have different islands here. Okay, like America, Asia, or like what Asia is connected to Europe, sort of like an island, like whatever Australia is an island. But together we can consider it like one island, sort of in a big ocean.
Yeah.
So like ocean also, there are many names of the different oceans out there, but those oceans can be considered like the same because the water is all connecting from Atlantic, Pacific. There is no actual boundary of these oceans. So like if we have one ocean, we have one island, basically. And so then there are other islands, other seas, other oceans. So then all of those are different worlds, basically. Yeah. So like that much we have to be clear about, like that this is the situation. There's more in the physical than this. And then there are other planes.
Yeah.
So Vedic is clear about these things. So whatever the clarity is there about, we have to hold on to that.
Yeah.
Okay, like because the other speculation will only lead to more confusion. Like because people try to keep on speculating, and that because until you know something by direct experience or direct that thing, there's no point speculating. Like if you see a tree and then you touched it, you've seen it, you say, okay, there's a tree. Okay. Or this is called a tree, whatever this object, but whatever. But if you've never seen it, you never that thing, there's no point dreaming about it or that thing, So I would suggest that like all the energy and focus should go towards a planes model, like there are various planes. Even people, when they try to make a model of the universe, they should just try to show different planes of existence. like to kids or to anybody, that these are planes.
But how to then, if you have just this model with planes, for example, how would you then explain like such a phenomenon like the lunar eclipses or phases? Yeah, so because this is actually that we would like to model in some point. So have a model which is a stationary.
I mean, in plasma, that is easy to explain.
Yes.
Like if there's a plasma thing like moon, okay, and there's another plasma entity, dark entity, which comes in front of it, and that's it. Like and once you have like moon's phases, like you have a light bulb, okay, like a plasma bulb that can light up this much and that 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 much and full and reduce lighting as so once you think in terms of plasma, those things become more easy to figure out, if you're in a non-physical kind of frame of reference.
So not in terms of the distances you suggest, to not go for the distances and trying people are trying right now to build this heliocentric model when they count all the distances between the planets. I don't know on which basis actually. And
that is just nonsense. That is just a joke. Like, I mean, that is just a that is as crazy as the equations which are taken out in maths. In maths, when you bring in a thing called imaginary number.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is under root of -1.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is an under root of -1? Can anybody, if anybody can explain that?
No.
What under root of -1 is, then we can explain all these other things too. And on that basis, big equations are written on the basis of I, imaginary number, and the whole quadratic equations start, and then you get to different levels. I mean, that is just a make-believe world. It's not a real. You can create a parameters, and you can create a format which is mathematics. In the same way, they have created this world.
Yeah.
But it's not a real world. It's just like movies. It's like a fantasy. It's like computer games.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, it's not real. Okay. So people have to understand that all this, in terms of that, we can't think in terms of those things out here.
So why do they still? Yeah, why can we still find some descriptions then like that? In the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam of the world and the construction of the world, like how is it built and so on. So you say that it's not really clear but we cannot really infer from that the position. What is the location of the objects that they mention with respect to the place that we know? Yeah. So this is your.
Yeah, I mean, Vedic things like the construction, they say, like of the sun, like when Vishwakarma was dealing with the sun, he chiseled him.
Yeah.
Like Vishwakarma chiseled the sun into less brightness. Like which is right now, which will be good enough for us. Like because this sun of ours had more brightness and more intensity, then most of this place would become desert, right?
Yeah.
Because the heat will be too much, and things will dry up and everything will be. So I mean, the stories are like that, right? Now, how do you chisel something like that, and whatever is happening, it's on a different level, isn't it? It's not on our level. We can't go and chisel the sun right now, right? Like we have no way of chiseling the sun right now, like so like you have to understand it, like it's from some being is from a higher plane. Okay, another plane, like right now, if you're making some plasma ball right now, in your laboratory, then you can, by changing the electricity and the magnetism, how much power you're giving, you can change its size, shape, things like that, right? In your laboratory, in your level. Okay. So if you see somebody's in a laboratory in other plane, they can maybe do that to our sun, but not us. So we have to understand everything in terms of where, what capacity, capabilities. So in Vedic things, the things which are being talked about are at a different level of capability completely. There are beings called rishis who are making worlds, creating worlds. Okay. So which is a very different concept from what right now anybody here can do, right? We cannot even think in those terms of actually creating a world. Yeah. So like you have to be sitting at some place. Like right now, all we can create is like a computer game world. Like actual world. Inside there, people can go and play, but you're not really there. It's just one senses or two sense experience of, like that thing. But like creating an actual world of different, I think that's a different level of something, So, this is all. So that's what the Vedic things are on a very different frame of reference compared to our frame of reference here. Okay. So, and they should be taken as such. So,
Okay.
Like if most of the Vedic things, I would tell people to take them as extraterrestrial stuff, what they call ET.
Yeah.
It's otherworldly. It's from different planes. It's not, just, and our plane is not the most important thing in the stories. They are all over the place. Like the Puranas are all over the place. Like some are taking Shiv Lok or this Lok or different, like some are in heaven, some are taking place in different, some are taking Patal, Talatal, Rasatal. Like they are taking place at different planes, all these stories. And we are not even a part of it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like, but obviously as humans, we are out here and we feel we are the most, everything should somehow connect to us. That is our general feeling. But you can't look at Vedic knowledge from that perspective.
So where would you then locate our Earth in this Vedic universe? I would say, in which part, in which place?
We are in Bhumandal for sure.
Yes.
Okay, Bhumandal, because we are on physical. We are on Bhu.
Okay.
Yeah, that is which part of Bhu. We don't want to go into that. That's speculation.
Okay. So like Jambudvip also, you wouldn't go.
No, I don't with that.
How about Bharatavarsha or other place?
Yeah. Bharat is the term for all of this island. This complete island which we live in is called Bharatvarsh.
Okay.
It's a name for it because it was ruled by one king called. It's one king who ruled. Bharat king, so he ruled this whole thing. Then, like right now, also Britain is that because the word Britain came from Bharati, Britha, which became Brita, which became Britannia, which became Britain, and Britain ruled this whole plane. Like, so it has still remained Bharat. That's why it's called Great Britain.
Yeah.
Okay, Great means Maha, and Britain means Bharat. So Maha Bharat. Okay. So maybe the story hasn't changed. In that way, it's still Bharatvarsh. Okay. I don't think the story has changed. Like even right now, all of this is still United Kingdom of Britain.
Yes.
So there is no that thing. This is Bharatvarsh only. Like all of the island, this whole island can be called that. So that is not. But Jambudvip might be a bigger particular expanse of the Bhu, and there might be different islands which are part of that. And
so even different planes or
no, different, just like islands.
So more land space, more land basically.
Yeah, more land. Yeah, Dweep means more land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about the Mount Meru? So where is it located? So could we say something about it?
Okay. So first, in the Vedic model, everything has an axis. Okay. So we are in this world. Okay. So the North Pole will be a central axis of this particular world.
Yeah.
Okay. So all of them will have axis. Then the whole plane, the whole Bhugo, like the Bhumandal, will have a central axis. That central axis will be Mount Meru. That central axis will be going from the top of the top plane to the bottom plane. All the 14 locus, the 14 planes.
Yeah.
It'll be central axis. And then each little ones will have their own axis on the sides. Okay. So our axis is also an axis. Okay. Which connects to the other axis, the central axis.
Okay.
But that central axis is not in our island.
Okay.
Okay, you have to like understand, like
Yes.
access is everywhere, but
Yeah.
central access is not. Like, so if you think like North Pole is Mount Meru
Yeah.
of the whole Brahmand,
Mm-hmm.
then you will again be speaking a wrong
Okay. Okay.
statement. It is, we have access, and that access can't be seen because of it is not within our visual
Spectrum.
range,
Yeah.
spectrum. That's all. We have a central axis, okay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and in the North Pole here, but we can't see it because it's not within our physical eye spectrum.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
yes, but also Vedas say that there is only one sun and one moon. So how is this then working in this universe? So do also
no,
different.
that is again a speculation. People have misunderstood all of it. For
Mm-hmm.
one system, there's one sun moon. Like for our system, there's another one sun and moon. For another system, there'll be another.
Okay.
It's not like there's a whole Brahman, there's one sun and moon.
Yeah, because it would be very strange how it would work then. So it would be just.
No, it doesn't work like, but the the concept of sun and moon is one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as the concept is a singular.
Okay.
It's a singular concept, but doesn't mean that there's only one sun and moon.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing from the Vedic, that's why like people in the old times, like when people go into Vedic texts, they get very confused about everything because, you know, like you have to get some natural common sense
Yeah.
off to a certain level before you are even qualified to like look at these things. Otherwise, you will get wrong meanings out of everything. And Sanskrit is not that simple a language as English or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, where a word has one clear meaning.
Yeah.
Okay. In Sanskrit, each word has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 meanings
Mm-hmm.
based on the context again.
Yeah.
Like it is context, and if one rishi is speaking Sanskrit, another rishi speaks Sanskrit, they can be totally different.
Yeah.
You know, because it's an open source language like Unix.
Okay.
You know, you can code it any which way you want,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Okay.
So how one rishi would do that will be different from another rishi, and all of that. Like, you know, just like right now Microsoft is different, like Windows is different from other operating systems, is different from
Mm-hmm.
you know Mac, and different from you know, like you can do your own thing with it, and
Mm-hmm.
to understand like everything will require context, like 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 everything will require context, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So people do not understand any of these things. So like the approach to all these things is very kiddish, you know, right now.
Mm-hmm.
How people look at these things is a very kiddish approach. I think it's like, you know, little kids trying to figure out how a TV works, or
Yeah.
you know, if you give a television with all the circuits to it and it keeps on looking at the circuits, and then it'll be like, what is all this? Like, you know, like it'll not, you know how kids sometimes, you know, they take battery
Yeah.
and they connect the wire straight to the tires,
Yeah.
wheels, and they expect the wheels to run now.
Yes.
You know, you know, because I'm giving it power, but why is it not
Yeah.
moving? You know,
Yeah.
so I think the whole approach to all the Vedic things is like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it is very sort of kiddish, and it's very like not understanding. There's context to it. There's different planes to it. There's different meaning of words. So whenever translations happen, people should not take the translations as like this is it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And this is like, you know, people are doing different translations, and even they don't know what like they're doing with it actually. So so most of the time what you have to understand, like what is clear actually, is that there are planes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that is very clear. And there's cycle of birth and death, okay, which people know there's death, and you know all of that, and then all of those things, the reincarnation cycle, planes of existence. And then you can get out of this plane if you do
Mm-hmm.
the level 1 of a computer game. Like this is like a level in a computer game. If you pass this level, you get to the next level,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which is other planes. So all those things are more clear. Okay, so if we stick to the clarity aspect, that'll be better first,
Mm-hmm.
and in trying to give a Vedic model of that thing. And I think we can even take the models like the one from the Nordic,
Mm-hmm.
the Nordic one, and
Yeah.
and you can integrate them into the Vedic because they're all like similar
Yeah.
in terms of that thing. They're just saying it in a different language and
Mm-hmm.
in a different kind of way, But
Mm-hmm.
but it's like we have to get off this the ball earth, and obviously that is over now. Like people who are awake, they know that there's no ball earth and
Yeah.
heliocentric and all. There's no solar system, and
Yeah.
there's no so-called like things which are
There was no Big Bang.
yeah, there was no big bang. It's, all the things just doesn't come out of nothing,
Yes, but an explosion.
and nothing from nothing everything,
Yes.
yeah. I
Yes.
mean, so it's the more we stick to the sort of facts which are around us, the reality and the basic points of the Vedic thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then we will get a more clearer picture, and if we go in that direction. So
Okay.
that is my general that thing on this. Like people who are working on this, who are really interested in the cosmology
Mm-hmm.
of the Brahmand,
Yes.
the Brahma's egg.
Yes.
Because yes, so that is the, and each world obviously there's a thing called a fractal, the word fractal.
Mm-hmm.
So like even this world has to be a fractal of everything.
Yes.
As above, so below, and all of that. Like, so there has to be a sun and moon, there has to be an axis, there has to be this thing, there has to be.
Yeah.
Like, if you create a world, you can't create a world without these parameters.
Mm-hmm.
And those parameters are quite fixed in this Brahman. So that is, again, Vedic is very clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, like we have 27 constellations and nakshatras, and then they have their field effects and this kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like a blueprint, like a general blueprint on the basis of which now if you create another world, you can change parameters differently slightly, but there are certain basic blueprints you will have to follow in order to create a world.
Yeah.
Or so people have to understand that, and if they go in this direction, I think, and trying to get numbers and stuff, that should not be tried right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, just basically, we should neglect all the measurements. Actually, just focus rather
Yes.
on some getting the idea, just the idea, yes, of the different planes, and trying to put them in the proper places at least. Yeah.
This kind of thing, work should be put more in that direction rather than wasting time and energy. Because when distances come like that, then say like, okay, millions of kilometers and things like that come, and then people get very confused. Like, we have only like 1,000 kilometers here. Like, what is this mountain range going for 1,000,000 kilometers? Like, we don't have a mountain range here.
Yes.
Going for 1,000,000, and which is like a 20 miles high or 30 miles high or 1,000 kilometers high. Like, we don't have any such thing out here. Like, so obviously, like, that can get very, very nonsensical, I would say. So it's just like we know what we can perceive here. We can be clear about that, and then clear about the plane structure. Then that will be enough for us to actually like move forward in terms of finally what we have to do out here. Like, what were most important question is, what are we supposed to do in this plane? And, so
how to move higher
is how to move higher, and that's why I have a lot of talks about that, and I do a lot of that things about that particular subject. So
okay, yes, so probably we'll just stop here. Yes.
Yes.
So thank you so much for the interview, and hopefully we'll continue at some point.
At some point we'll with some exact things whenever you have some list of things, like, so.
Okay. Great. So, it was great to hear you. Thank you so much. Have a nice afternoon.
Yeah, and whenever you publish it, let me know, and that thing, and
okay. Yeah, I will look on it, how it looks, and then
great.
Yeah,
and I'm part of these groups now. I'll be looking at things, whatever.
Right. So please also feel free to make some comments if you have some time, of course, and if you want.
Yes. Yes,
We
yes,
actually
yes.
we recently were thinking about this Varaha avatar, because there's a story that he actually put it all
Yeah.
this Bumandala or Bugola, actually it's not clear because there are two versions. Which one
Yeah.
he put it actually in the ocean. So we are actually thinking about it. That was just the personal version of the Mother Earth, or it was just the whole system, or the whole plane, or do you have maybe
Yeah.
some insights?
Yeah, and which can be like okay, like it can be anything, isn't it? Like we'll discuss this next time, but
Okay.
it can be anything, because Vara avatar can be like an archetype. It's an archetype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that archetype can just raise this particular part of Earth,
Mm-hmm.
or the whole Bhumandala, or depending on, like, because it can be small or
Mm-hmm.
big.
Yeah.
Like the bore can be very small. If it's a very small bore, then it'll just lift this one.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's a bigger one, then it'll lift the whole.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to again look at the story and like thinking that thing can expand and shrink, and you know, like it's an
Okay.
archetype only. It's not one thing. It's not
Okay.
just one story like about
Mm.
one event.
Okay.
Okay. If you think linearly like that, we have problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for
So
today. And
I mean, we will do that story, like again that Vara thing, like that thing, So
mm-hmm. Great.
yeah,
Thank you so much. Have a nice
next
afternoon.
one.
Thank you. Bye.
Next time we will talk about that.
Okay. Great. Thank
Okay.
you.